Do you ever feel like you've tried everything and the scale won't budge? You've been counting your calories, you've been using all these apps, you've been trying all these diets, but nothing seems to work. Or maybe it works just for a short period of time and then you gain the weight back. Been there, done that. And the answer may actually surprise you as to why you're having such a hard time with weight loss. Today, I'm going to talk about 3 main reasons that I see people struggling with weight loss. I'll give you solutions to each, and at the end, I'm going to cover one thing that actually fixes all these issues, which is what most people actually really need. And before we get into it, let me introduce myself real quick. Hi, I'm Lex Fuko. I've been in health and fitness industry for over 20 years. I've been overweight, underweight. I've dealt with binging disorder. I've trained in amateur bodybuilding, boxing, and kickboxing. And at this point, I've helped a few hundred women get in shape and stay in shape. And this is why I'm here with you today to share the information and make it a shortest path possible to a healthier version of you. My goal is to help you feel like you're at a 10 daily, whether it's through weight loss or just learning how to love yourself and recognize your beauty. All right, without further ado, let's get into the first biggest problem that I see people have when they're trying to lose weight and they can't. It's gut health. And the reason why we don't address this enough is because diet culture has been loud for so many years, telling us we just need to diet, eat less, move more, but we still don't make the real connection between the gut health and our body. There is a reason why scientists now call our gut our second brain. For example, most of serotonin, the happiness hormone, is produced in our gut. Meaning, if we have a leaky gut, if our gut bacteria is not balanced, if there's any issues with our gut health, we're not going to feel as happy as we should. Now, serotonin is obviously key. Low serotonin levels can lead to depression, can lead to anxiety. We can end up feeling more lonely. We can be more isolated because we just don't feel like ourselves. We feel kind of blue. And when we feel all these things, when we feel depressed and anxious and lonely or sad or isolated, what do? We tend to eat more. And what do we eat? We tend to eat more things that give us the instant high, which is typically processed foods. We need to get the sugar high to make us feel a little better. But that only makes the problem worse. Your gut bacteria also determines what kind of cravings you're going to have. So this is when you're like, oh my God, I couldn't stop eating that. Or I know I have Oreos in my house and they keep calling my name. This is typically because of your gut health. Again, your gut is your second brain. And as a matter of fact, why don't you start thinking of it as a place where everything starts? So this is how sacred I want you to think about your gut health. This is how I want you to address this gut bacteria. We have to do this slowly, by the way, because any drastic changes on anything in the body are never good, especially on the gut health, because bacteria needs to adjust. If you don't do so, you're risking of having more bloating, diarrhea, constipation, or any other digestive tract issues that are never pretty, let's be honest. When you fix your gut bacteria, you're automatically going to start noticing less inflammation, which automatically helps you reduce body fat and reduces inflammation anywhere in the body, including your brain. So what you want to start doing is slowly, always the keyword slowly, start getting away from processed foods and changing the ingredients of those foods to make it at home, and or slowly start substituting with healthier choices. So if you love eating out and if pizza is your favorite, just find a way to make a healthier pizza. I do have a recipe for a pizza in my recipe book. I'll leave the links in the description so you can check out and see what other recipes are in there and if that's something that interests you. If you like tacos, just make it fun and make it at home. If you like burgers, and the list goes on and on, you can always find healthier ingredients to make it at home with. But of course, you can also make substitutions for healthy things. So for example, instead of snacking on that chips, you may want to take frozen grapes and try that out. This all needs to be done slowly because first, we need to adjust the gut bacteria. Second, you want to allow time for your taste buds to change. And third, you want to create ongoing habits. This is not something that's a diet. Second thing you want to do is you want to implement more fermented foods such as kimchi, sauerkraut, yogurt. Those are just some of the examples. You can also start taking a prebiotic, which helps your gut bacteria feed off of healthy things. One of the things that I talk about in one of my videos is brewer's yeast. You may want to check out that video and find out the benefits of that because it will help balance your gut bacteria. And there are a few other supplements that I do recommend taking when you are fixing your gut bacteria and wanting to balance it further. Again, I'll leave the links in the description. You can read about it and decide if that's for you. And lastly, one thing that does help fix your gut bacteria even within a few days is fasting. More on that in a bit. The second thing is what most people don't believe me at first being a problem when it comes to losing weight is going into calorie deficit or counting calories or dieting. And I know there's people who are like, what? This is exactly how you lose weight. What is that saying? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is the definition of insanity, right? But we do that. We just change the name of a diet. We think that that's going to work, but our behaviors and our beliefs stay the same. No. So when you create a caloric deficit, but you don't change anything else, you are slowing down your metabolism, because let's say it takes you 2,000 calories per day to function just as is. And now you drop that to 1,500 calories. Sounds great. You're going to start losing some weight at first. But what happens is your body adjusts and says, we don't need 2,000 calories anymore. Let's slow down our metabolism and do all the same things we did on 1,500 calories. At that point, you're like, I need to reduce to 1,200 calories. And you keep going on and on and on while you keep slowing down your metabolism. When it comes to dieting, I think I'm vocal enough to say why diets don't work. They have a start date, they have an end date. They don't take into consideration what you actually like to eat. You typically don't like eating that food. You feel like you're eating cardboard food because your taste buds cannot taste that food anyway. And after you're done dieting, you go back to the same habits that brought you to weight gain in the first place. And then third, counting calories becomes very obsessive. You feel like you can't even take a bite without counting a calorie. And once again, the reason why people count calories is to create a caloric deficit. But Lex, you can't lose weight without a deficit. Well, let's talk about it. It's not going to work long term. It can't. One, none of these things address the psychology of weight loss. There's so much more to why you gained weight and why you want to lose weight, and it's all subconscious. You have to work on your subconscious self. Because for as long as your beliefs stay the same as they were in the past, you will not change for good going forward. So unless you want to keep yo-yoing and have a damaged metabolism, we need to change some things. So don't focus on calorie deficit, focus on health. When you focus on health, you're right away going to start reading the ingredients, not nutrition facts, but the ingredients. You're going to start noticing all the ingredients that you're putting in your body you don't need that actually create inflammation, food cravings, food addiction, and therefore weight gain. And you're automatically going to start making better choices. So start reading the ingredients for sure. Focus on your health and ask yourself, is this the healthiest and yummiest thing that I can eat right now? Because again, just like with number one, when you start making these foods at home or find foods with better ingredients, you're automatically creating a different caloric choice for your body. But it's not even about calories. It's about what your body does with the food that you eat. Because as soon as you eat something, your body gets signals on what hormones to release, what not to release, what to do with that food, should it create inflammation, and so on. So it's completely different when you eat 1,000 calories in fruit and when you eat 1,000 calories in cheesecake. And your basic rule of thumb can be, if it's been around for only the last 50 to 100 years, don't eat it. Again, you can make your favorite foods, still enjoy them, just make them at home with better ingredients. By the way, what is your favorite food? What is that one food that you cannot live without? What is that one thing that if you don't have for a while, you start craving like crazy? Leave me a comment below. Let me know. I want to hear from you. And the third reason that I find super common as to why people, especially women, are not losing weight is hormones being out of balance. And this is addressing particularly our sex hormones such as estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. In the beginning of our cycle, we're supposed to have higher estrogen, toward the middle, higher testosterone, but all three really toward the end and coming closer to our period, it's progesterone dominant, and then we get our period. And through all these phases, we have different needs. However, most things are endocrine blockers these days. Most things boost our estrogen in an unhealthy way to unhealthy levels and doesn't address our progesterone and creates a havoc in the body, basically. This is where you can notice thinning hair. You can notice changes in your sleep. You can notice changes in your mood. You can notice changes in the way your brain works. You may think like, my memory is worse, or I have brain fog, or I just don't think the same way that I used to. You can also notice changes on your body, such as body odor, sweating more, being too cold or too hot when others are not feeling like that, and so on. Now, I do have a bunch of videos on hormones and perimenopause and menopause, and you can go watch those right after this one. But I do want to talk about in this video on basic rules that you can apply to get your hormones back in balance. So if you just are looking at all the things you use at home for shampoo, conditioner, soap, anything else you use for the hair, any cleaning supplies, detergents, laundry detergents, and so on. You can start going one by one, not all at once, because you're going to feel overwhelmed, and start buying those without fragrance added to them and perfumes. That can be a basic rule. There's plenty of other ingredients that shouldn't be in there, but a general rule is if they don't use a fragrance, they probably do make sure that it's a healthier product. That is a big thing. That is a huge endocrine disruptor, estrogen booster. Another thing to pay attention to is polyester and plastics. We have plastics everywhere around. We drink from plastic. We wear plastic. Polyester is plastic. We put food in plastic. So again, not to get overwhelmed, to do it all at once, but just look at one thing at a time as to, how can I minimize this? How can I change this to glass or not to use plastic anymore? A definite starting point can be actually going and getting your hormones tested. I have a couple of companies that I highly recommend because they can help you test so many other things in your body. And you'll know exactly what your starting point is, and it can give you even suggestions on what to eat more of and less of. I'll leave all the links in the description. Do your own research, look it up, and see if it's right for you. But when you do these tests, you will know exactly where your hormonal level is, and you'll know exactly what to do about lowering your cortisol, about boosting your progesterone, about leveling up your testosterone, whatever you need to do to better your body. And to remind you, this is not just about weight loss. When you test your body and your metabolism and cortisol and other hormones in your body, and you start improving these things, so many other things are going to improve, such as heart health or brain fog may be gone. Remember, everything in the body is connected. So while we're focusing maybe on weight loss primarily, it really is about overall health. Because remember, your body actually wants to be in homeostasis. It wants to feel happy and healed. It's that our lifestyle today is such a high stress lifestyle that we don't get proper sleep. Therefore, our body doesn't heal. Therefore, our brain doesn't work right. We again eat out of plastic. Our body's full of plastic and fragrances, and so many things get screwed up. It's time to get them back so that you can feel like you're at a 10 daily. Now, I told you at the end of the video, I will talk about one thing that actually helps fix all of these things, and that is fasting. I cannot stop talking about fasting since I started doing it, applying it, and then seeing results on me and all of my clients. Fasting is so easy to do. Now, there is a right way and a wrong way to do it. I have a whole playlist if you want to watch it, but basically, fasting will help balance your hormones. Fasting will help you address the emotional eating. Fasting will help you be aware of your emotional eating or the reasons why you're eating. It will actually help you get to know yourself on a subconscious level and realize how you're thinking about food, how you're viewing food. It will also help fix your gut health and balance your gut bacteria so you stop having crazy cravings. It will help you focus on your health. It will help you heal your body from within. When you are fasting, you don't have to use apps. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to create a caloric deficit. When you are fasting, you're eating in a smaller eating window, and therefore typically you're eating less. But even if you are eating the same amount of calories in your shorter eating window, you will actually burn more fat off of your body. It will help speed up your metabolism, and it goes with any kind of schedule you have. If you are busy, if you have a lot of free time, if you're going somewhere, if you're staying home, it is very easy to implement. So please apply all these things that we talked about depending on the issue you have. But if you haven't already looked into intermittent fasting, I encourage you to do so right now.